Qin was surprised that the Demon King ran away. Even Master Ling didn't expect it. He thought that the Silver Moon Demon King wanted to fight with him again. Qin said that the Demon King was very strong. If Master Ling pushed him harder, even Master Ling wouldn't be able to escape from the Silver Moon Demon King. Master Ling confirmed that, but he had been given trust by the expert, so he had to complete his mission immediately. Soon they were chasing after the Silver Moon Demon King before he got too far away. Halfway through his flight, the Demon King grumbled that Master Ling was blocking his way. He also didn't expect his 4,000-year Demon King self to be defeated by Master Ling, but he would find time to take revenge and destroy Ling Yun's palace. As he flew over a small hill, the Silver Moon Demon King was startled by something in front of him. It was Blackie. He was completely stunned by Blackie's appearance. They looked at each other for a moment. The Demon King was annoyed and let out his intimidating aura to say, "Where did the little dog come from?" and asked Blackie to get out of his way. Blackie told the Silver Moon Demon King to destroy his own monster core. The Demon King did so and it would not move. The Demon King ignored Blackie's words. He tried to leave by saying that Blackie was lucky because he had urgent matters and would not deal with Blackie. As he passed Blackie, the Demon King was surprised that something happened to him. It turned out that the Demon King's tail had been trimmed by Blackie. This made the Silver Moon Demon King angry and cursed at Blackie. However, as the Demon King turned to look at Blackie, he was shocked and mentally hit at the same time. With a stutter, the Demon King said who Blackie really was. Blackie's paws began to tense up and his shadowy aura suddenly grew bigger, revealing his true self. He said that he was just an ordinary guard dog. Witnessing Blackie's insane strength, the Demon King broke out in a cold sweat. From afar, where Blackie was in a rage, there was a fierce lightning strike. Li-nianfan, who was hunting, called out to Blackie but could not find him. Seeing the lightning strike from a distance, Li-nianfan panicked. He ran immediately to look for Blackie. He was worried that Blackie was hurt. Meanwhile, Master Ling and Qin were extremely mentally scared by what happened in front of them. Qin stuttered, asking Master Ling if he had seen it. Master Ling also asked where this dog demon came from. How terrifying. After settling down a bit, they finally talk about the Demon King. Qin said the Silver Moon Demon King was like a baby in that dog's arms. Qin suggested that they leave immediately before the dog realized where they were. Master Ling agreed as it would be dangerous for the demon dog to know where they were. When the two of them made a turn to leave, suddenly they were shocked that Blackie was already behind them. With an intimidating face, bulging eyes, and a cruel smile, Blackie asked if they had seen everything. Obviously, they had seen everything. Being so scared, Master Ling knelt down and prostrated himself. He repeatedly asked the dog master to have mercy on him. He was a dog lover, so dogs would never kill someone who loved dogs. Qin, who saw his master acting like that, was surprised. She said that they could be killed, but there was no need to humiliate themselves like that in front of a dog. Master Ling, who was still kneeling before Blackie, told Qin that if Qin didn't know anything, it was better to join him so that they wouldn't be killed. Blackie spoke up. He knew that the two of them were the master's guests. Indeed, they must understand the rules. Master Ling, who was still a bit terrified, looked confused by Master's words. Qin seemed to realize something. Blackie looked familiar. He recognized the dog in the Li-nianfan residence. Qin instantly changed her expression and respected Blackie. Qin simply nodded, saying that of course they understood the rules. Once again, Blackie warned them to remember that he was just a dog, an ordinary dog that couldn't do anything, and the Demon King or Eagle was something he found by accident. Hearing Blackie's order, Master Ling, still prostrate, said that they understood. Blackie was the greatest in the world. He was very impressed with Blackie. Seeing Master Ling's behavior made Qin and also Blackie astonished. Suddenly, there was something in the bushes near them. It startled Blackie and the others, who turned out to be Li-nianfan. Li-nianfan cried, afraid of losing Blackie, and ran straight to Blackie. He grumbled about how many times he had told Blackie not to go alone to high and strange places. But he stopped crying and saw that Qin and Master Ling were there and Blackie had turned into a normal dog. Li-nianfan looked at Master Ling and asked if it was Master Ling. Grabbing Master Ling's hand, Li-nianfan cried, asking if it was Master Ling who protected his dog from the lightning attack. He thanked him for his help. Master Ling asked Li-nianfan not to praise him too much. It was all for nothing. Then Qin introduced Master Ling to Li-nianfan. Master Ling was her master. Still filled with tears, Li-nianfan addressed Master Ling as Uncle Ling. Master Ling also addressed Li-nianfan as Master Lai, while Blackie and Qin, who saw their behavior, remained silent. Li-nianfan turned to Blackie, who had brought the Demon King. A Demon King that had turned into a normal bird without feathers. Blackie happily showed it to Li-nianfan. Of course, Li-nianfan asked if Blackie had caught it. Blackie barked to confirm it. Nifen took the eagle and said that it was really a big eagle. Blackie is indeed extraordinary. Nifen stroked Blackie and seemed satisfied with Blackie's actions this time. Nifen also felt slightly more comfortable. He told Master Ling and Shin that usually during the day there were a lot of people and monsters, but today was very quiet, so he could go hunting. But suddenly lightning struck Blackie's head. He almost lost his heart when he saw it. Once again, Nifen thanked them for their help. If they want it, how about they come to his house? Master Ling must have still misunderstood. He thought Nifen knew that the Silver Demon King had been defeated, and that now was his chance. In the end, Master Ling and Qin followed Nifen to his residence. Master Ling apologized to Nifen for being troublesome, telling Nifen that the other day Qin had mentioned Nifen. Since then, he had been wanting to meet Nifen, and now he could finally see and talk to Nifen in person. Nifen asked not to say that. It made him very embarrassed. He was just an ordinary person. There was nothing nice about it. Master Ling silently said that everything was as he thought. Nifen would rather remain anonymous and be an ordinary person in this world. He had to be careful not to reveal Nifen's identity. He couldn't miss the golden opportunity to get close and follow Nifen. Master Ling also said that he was very impressed with Nifen's tales of the journey to the west. It was a great masterpiece, and he also heard that Nifen wrote poems. Everyone was surprised about that. His old self was excited to see it. Nifen humbly said that he was still a beginner and needed Master Ling's guidance. Master Ling then noticed the arrow on Nifen's back. It was the bamboo of enlightenment. Nifen made arrows using enlightenment bamboo. A single strike using enlightenment bamboo would destroy the target without a trace, and also the bow was the same. It was made using enlightenment bamboo. Discovering the truth made Master Ling weak and sent him to his knees. Qin, who was worried, asked Master Ling what had happened. Then Master Ling confirmed to Qin again whether the enlightenment bamboo that Qin had brought home was just trash that Master Nifen had thrown away. When he heard it for the first time, he was curious. But when he saw it for himself, he had no choice but to believe it. Seeing the bamboo being thrown away and becoming Nifen's trash made Master Ling cry in frustration. Inside, he said that he wanted to pick up the trash that Nifen had thrown away. Nifen questioned whether Master Ling was alright when he noticed Master Ling's strange behavior. Qin tried to hide Master Ling's annoyance at not being able to pick up the trash Nifen had thrown away by saying that Master Ling was just very impressed to have met Nifen. Blackie was seen carrying the bald Demon King on his back. Master Ling, who saw that the Demon King was dead, said it was a blessing to die in the hands of such a presence. Nifen called Day when they arrived at his residence, saying that he and Blackie had returned. Day seemed happy to see them. She asked how their hunt went. Day was shocked to death to see the dead Demon King being carried by Nifen. Day asked, did Nifen get the Silver Moon Demon King? Of course, Nifen didn't take her seriously. He lifted Blackie up, saying that it was all thanks to Blackie. Nifen asked Day to praise Blackie too. Blackie had worked very hard. Day, of course, smiled bitterly, frightened. With no expression to hold back her overwhelming fear, Day stroked Blackie's head. By using her telepathy, Day asked Blackie what had happened. Blackie said it was what he did. But would Day believe him if he said that he was just passing by and accidentally killed him? They both made a deal to make Nifen not suspicious. Noticing Day's expressionless look made Nifen ask if Day was unhappy. She quickly put a happy face on. She said that this was the first time she had seen such a big mountain eagle. She was just surprised. The meat of the eagle must be very tender. She would make a delicious meal for tonight. Nifen excitedly said that tonight they would have a feast of delicious meat. As Nifen was happy, there were other people who were shocked to death. They stunned. Qin and Master Ling were completely struck mentally. The Silver Moon Demon King was about to be eaten. Master Ling told Nifen that he had heard from Qin that Nifen loved jelly food, and today he would bring a refrigerator for Nifen. Nifen tried to confirm it once again if it was true. Master Ling shook his head and said that it wasn't small. Nifen would need a large space to put it. Nifen said that it was easy. Long story short, Nifen had prepared a place to put the present by removing the plants that were precious to the immortals. Nifen asked Master Ling to put it there. Of course, Master Ling and Qin vomited blood in shock. The precious medicinal plants were just thrown away. Master Ling tried to calm himself down and would take it all for granted. Wiping the blood from his lips, Master Ling said that it was enough. Then Master Ling quickly took out a huge chunk of ice in front of Nifen. Nifen was really happy to see it. Nifen said that he thought it was a jelly-making machine, but what was it? Master Ling explained that jelly would be made from the chunk of ice. The ice came from a mountain known as Xuan Thousand-Year Iceberg. Unfortunately, it takes about 10 years to make 1 grain of jelly. Nifen, who had gotten plenty of jelly from the iceberg, asked what Master Ling had said earlier. Master Ling was of course getting pressured. He said that he didn't say anything. Master Ling looked angrily at the chunk of Xuan ice. He said that Xuan ice was very cruel. He had licked Xuan Ice for thousands of years but only gave him 1 grain of jelly. But now when he met Nifen, Xuan Ice immediately gave everything to Nifen. Nifen smiled happily, saying that Master Ling had saved Blackie and given him the precious item. What could he do to repay Master Ling's kindness? He was just a mortal who could only grow crops and he had no valuables in his house. But if Master Ling didn't mind, please tell him what Master Ling wanted. Master Ling and Qin misunderstood. They thought it was a test from Nifen. If he lied and said he didn't mean anything, Nifen would see right through it and think they were both being dishonest. But if he asked right away, he would look greedy. It was a really difficult choice for him. The same was true for Qin. If she wasn't careful, she would lose that great opportunity. Master Ling really looked extremely distressed. Even just one sentence out of Nifen's mouth already made him feel a massive pressure that he didn't know how to answer. Master Ling said that he actually had a long broken zither, which could now be repaired thanks to Nifen's enlightening bamboo. He would never forget Master Nifen's kindness. Everything he gave was just a small token of appreciation. You have to do that for Master Nifen's sake. Seeing Master Ling's behavior, Nifen really didn't understand. Nifen said, "What was the bamboo of enlightenment? Was it the bamboo branch that Qin brought home earlier?" Now Nifen was the one who was sad. He said to himself that he had only given a twig, but Master Ling had given him a jelly-making machine. Was that the tradition of the people of this world? Master Ling says that Nifen has a mirror-like heart. If so, he would have said it right away. Nifen agreed and asked Master Ling to say it right away. Master Ling says that his old self wanted Nifen to show him the way. The path that Master Ling was referring to was unclear, which would lead to misunderstandings. Looking at his master, Qin said that Master Ling had said it. Master Ling asked to show him how to achieve the path of immortality. Qin still continued that Master Nifen always kept his mouth shut when it came to immortal cultivators. Master Ling's movements were too dangerous, straight to the point. He wondered what Nifen's answer would be. Nifen invited them to leave immediately. It turned out that Nifen was inviting them to watch him play the zither. It was not what they expected, of course. Master Lin and Qin were completely confused by it all. Nifen confidently told them not to look at him like that. He just knew a bit of music. Qin was a little disappointed with Nifen's answer. Master Ling, on the other hand, was more than happy to see that. As expected of Master Nifen, he knew Master Nifen had practiced zither the first time he saw him. He felt very lucky. He was happy thinking that they would play together, but his happiness was ruined by Nifen. He said that they would not play together. Nifen said to himself that he played the zither with only normal energy, but those cultivators played with inner strength. What would happen if they all accidentally killed him? If only Nifen the expert knew that it was Nifen who would kill him. Nifen asked Master Ling to play one song first, and then he would play the next. Master Ling understood and followed Nifen's request. As he was about to touch the zither and look at it, Master Ling was immediately shocked. His hand was literally shaking as he touched the zither. He thought his zither felt the presence of Nifen's zither. Initially, the Heavenly Heart zither already seemed the best of the best, but when compared to Nifen's zither, then the Heavenly Heart zither was not an exaggeration to say it was firewood. Master Ling asked Nifen for permission to play the zither, which Nifen allowed with a cheerful smile. With full concentration, Master Ling convinced himself to play the zither. When he played just one string of the zither, Master Ling immediately vomited blood. This shocked Qin to death. Master Ling asked Qin to take it easy because the zither was too high level, requiring more energy to play. Master Ling immediately played the zither earnestly. The melody was really soft, making Nifen rise up to enjoy it. The surroundings became more blissful than before. Master Ling said to himself that the zither was a magical item. He had played the zither for a long time. Today, he could play the magic zither, so that if he were to die, he wouldn't die with regrets. Qin was impressed with his master's zither playing, even though Master Ling's gestures seemed very pathetic. Nifen, who was still listening, said that the playing was not bad. If the trash system was still there, it would have given him an 8. The sound of the zither reminded him of the days when he was forced to play zither 24 hours a day for 1 week straight by the trash system. He would never forget those days filled with cruelty. Master Ling had finished playing and asked Nifen if his performance was any good. Nifen smiles cheerfully and claps his hands. Nifen asked them not to judge with words, rather they should communicate with the sound of the zither. Nifen sat down and prepared to play the zither. Nifen silently said that if Master Ling loved the zither so much, then he had to do his best. He couldn't disappoint Master Ling. Meanwhile, Master Ling and Qin were already gulping in fear of what was about to happen. Nifen raised his hand and began to place his fingers to gently pluck the strings. As he plucked the strings, the sound of the zither was so powerful that it made them feel like they were being hit by a powerful wind that made their faces scrunch up. After a single strum of the zither, Nifen immediately stopped. Master Ling and Qin didn't know what was happening. Why Nifen had stopped playing. Qin asked Master Ling not to rush because at this moment what was behind Nianfan was slowly unfolding. Was it the realm of the immortals? The atmosphere suddenly changed. There was a massive door opening behind Nianfan, leaving Master Ling and Qin shocked. Now the surroundings turned into a fierce battlefield. Master Ling and Qin were completely confused. Of course, Master Ling wondered if it was the Taoist realm and it was a battle. But how did such a fierce battle appear in this world? A warrior within the realm had a murderous intent and came close to targeting them both. The worried Qin asked Master Ling to run away. However, Master Ling said that it was unnecessary, as the Taoist sect was currently on top of the two of them and running away was never a knight's choice. A knight riding a horse and wielding his spear raced towards Master Ling and stabbed him in the heart. But eventually they returned to the original world. They were a little relieved, but suddenly the surroundings changed again as the world was filled with extremely horrible plants. Master Ling said that all the living beings within the Nianfan residence had cultivated beyond the limit. All living beings returned to their original forms after hearing the battle sounds of Master Nianfan's zither. Master Ling muttered that Nianfan didn't look like he wanted to give his opinion, but Master Ling felt that his zither performance didn't deserve Nianfan's opinion. He had played pretty well, but he was far from good. Terrified, Qin told Master Ling that the monsters in the courtyard were strong enough to kill the Silver Moon Demon King. Qin was surprised to see Master Ling, who was crying uncontrollably. Master Ling said that it was okay. Nianfan is an immortal. No, Nianfan wasn't an immortal but above immortals. Master Ling felt that his 3,000 years of cultivation meant that meeting Nianfan was destined. All this Nianfan's performance had caused Master Ling and Qin to feel a great sensation. Finally, Nianfan stopped his performance. Nianfan asked Master Ling his thoughts. What did Master Ling think of his zither performance? Master Ling was completely filled with pressure in his head just to give his opinion. He should think hard, Master Ling said to himself. Nianfan had to ask them what they were thinking. It wasn't surprising that the existence of the neighborhood had become something out of the ordinary because they had heard Nianfan's zither sound as their daily life, which could cultivate them all. Masters Ling and Qin were really very envious of all those around the Nianfan residence. They also wanted to hear the performance every day, but Master Ling understood his situation and condition. He felt he didn't deserve any of that. He then got up and told Nianfan that he was very grateful to Nianfan for teaching him. His old self had received many benefits just by hearing the sound of Nianfan's zither performance. Nianfan humbly said that if he had not played zither for a long time, it was likely that his playing had diminished. He apologized for his poor performance. Master Ling ignored him because he had more important concerns. He wondered if Nianfan could tell him the name of the music he played. With a casual response, Nianfan said that it was a 10-sided ambush. Of course, that was a big misunderstanding. Both Master Ling and Qin were absolutely mentally challenged. He assumed that there was a group of demons hiding in the darkness. Wasn't that a 10-sided ambush? Master Ling thought that Nianfan hid some very powerful monsters like Blackie in the courtyard on the 10 sides. Master Ling and Qin really did thank God that he didn't do anything to offend Nianfan. Or else he thought his corpse and bones wouldn't be found in that world anymore. Master Ling happily said that the song was amazing. Nianfan's ability to play the zither is absolutely great. Incomparable words fit Nianfan perfectly. Nianfan thought the praise was too much for him. Nianfan still seemed concerned that he only gave Master Ling a bamboo branch while Master Ling gave him a jelly-making machine. Should he write a song and give it to Master Ling? Master Ling was surprised. His expression showed that he was bearing something extremely heavy in his heart. He shouted out loudly internally for Nianfan to give it to him immediately. His 3,000 years of life would not have been wasted if he received that. Moving on to Ling Yun's immortal palace. Qin Yun was seen waiting for his father to come out of exile. People said that the master would break in. The saints had been guarding the house for 3 days. A light appeared in the air signaling the breakthrough. Qin Yun ordered them all to send the mana they had to help Master to break through. Soon, everyone started sending mana towards the light signaling the breakthrough. A huge, corn-tall figure appeared. Right after mana was shot into the light, a huge explosion occurred and the huge figure disappeared. People wondered if the master had managed to break through. In the distance, someone came out from inside the pavilion. Qin Yun called out to his father, who was still in the distance, but his father asked for nobody to come closer. His father was Master Mufeng, the master of Ling Yun's immortal palace. With the wicked aura within him, Master Mufeng said that he had reached a critical period in the breakthrough. If he failed, he would receive a counterattack. The consequences were unimaginable if that happened. Master Mufeng asked Qin Yun to give him 9 ginseng spiritual notes that would determine whether or not he could break through. However, Qin Yun was instantly shocked as her father asked for the ginseng spiritual notes. Slightly frightened, Qin Yun apologized that he had given 9 ginseng spiritual notes to someone. Master Mufing was surprised that the rare item was given to someone else, but Master Mufing didn't mind. He asked for another item, neon grass. He was grateful that he had saved some in preparation for his breakthrough, but the reply he got from King Yun surprised him. King Yun had given those items away as well. Master Mufing kept asking for the materials he needed, but King Yun had already given them to someone else. This made Master Mufing almost died. How could she give all the high-level materials to a stranger, he said. Master Mufing, who was already weak, heard that his daughter gave all the materials he needed to someone else. He asked King Yun why she gave them away. Rather than panicking that her father was about to die, King Yun happily said that the person was the incomparable expert Master Nifan. He was a humble person who lived in exile as a mortal. Even the immortals in heaven could not compare to him. Hearing all about that person left Master Mufing shocked once again. He believed that his daughter had been tricked by that strange bastard. As he watched his daughter, who was still smiling, Master Mufing said to himself he was also certain that King Yun's money had been swindled by that person. But he wasn't sure if King Yun also gave her body to that person. At first he was skeptical, but seeing King Yun's infatuated demeanor made Master Mufing convinced that his daughter had given her body to someone else. Master Mufing had no more energy. He was upset with himself. Sitting down, he beat himself up. He cried out pitifully. Even though there was no possibility of him breaking through, why did his daughter have to go through such suffering being cheated by a rascal bastard? Master Mufing asked everyone to leave. He said in his heart that after he adjusted his breathing, he would go to rip apart the person who had cheated his daughter. When Master Mufing was in the midst of his emotions, King Yun told his father that although she gave a rare material to the knife and expert, but she got something that might help her father. Master Mufing was curious and asked what it was. King Yun happily said that it was tea. Master Mufing really had no idea what else to say. 16 rare materials were exchanged for just tea. He couldn't believe that his daughter, who had been smart since she was a child, was now the one who became stupid when facing men. It seemed like King Yun knew that his father thought that she had been cheated. King Yun asked her father not to think that way. No matter if this was true or not, her father would know after see it. As the tea bag was opened, a ray of light spread out from the tea bag. Even just a beam of light from inside the tea bag was able to wash away the evil energy within him and make Master Mufing return to his original form. Master Mufing was shocked to see that. He momentarily felt as if all the evil Kai in his body disappeared. Was it an illusion, or did the tea contain heaven and earth? King Yun offered her father to drink the tea, and she would brew it for him. The green-colored tea filled with pure qi was poured by King Yun into the glass. The father, Master Mufing, who saw his daughter brewing tea for him, said, "Wasn't it the first time King Yun had brewed tea for him?" Master Mufing was really happy. He seemed to be experiencing daughter complex. Master Mufing inwardly said, even though his breakthrough was no more hope, he could still taste a cup of tea made by his daughter personally. It was worth it for him. As he took the tea that had been poured for him, Master Mufing said that people cultivate by eating the food of heaven and earth, but he drank tea instead. He thought he was the first person to do so. Those words seemed to contain a lot of regret. King Yun couldn't bear to see her father just remain silent. Immediately, Master Mufing sipped his tea. The tea water that flowed down his throat instantly changed the world he was currently in, a world filled with beautiful scenery. He was surprised to feel the Taoist energy in the tea, but he realized something else. It wasn't just Taoism that was in it. There was consciousness too. Master Mufing looked at the teacup, saying that the small teacup could cause confusion to whoever drank it. It also made him remember his time with his daughter King Yun when she was young. The consciousness in that tea was truly extraordinary. King Yun, who saw her father not saying anything, asked, "How was the tea?" Master Mufing remained silent and did not answer her. He continued to concentrate, and afterward he shouted that his daughter was really unbelievably adorable, coupled with the explosion of his cultivation breakthrough. People who saw it were also impressed. Finally, Master Mufing managed to break through. Once again, King Yun asked how his father felt. Master Mufing only said that King Yun had been very sweet since childhood. Now she had the charisma of an adult. King Yun certainly didn't understand what her father was talking about. Master Mufing asked her to bring him the remaining tea bags he would see for himself. King Yun showed him the tea, and it was all she had. Master Mufing was absolutely overjoyed. That treasure or tea was enough to make Ling Yun Immortal Pavilion prosperous and invincible for about 10,000 years, as expected from King Yun. By hugging King Yun, Master Mufing said it was truly a rare opportunity to be able to bring back such a good treasure. Master Mufing held King Yun's hand, asking where the expert was when King Yun would meet him. King Yun told her father that it wasn't what he thought. The expert was a solitary and quiet person, enjoying seclusion in the mountain and rarely going out. She would explain everything that happened. her father should listen carefully. Moving in the middle of the forest near Nifan's residence, a squirrel woman was seen together with a pig monster. They seemed to be arguing about who would be the next demon king. The pig seemed to claim that he would be the next demon king. The squirrel woman looked down on the pig. The pig was only at the safe stage of cultivation and already felt superior and intended to become a demon king. The pig got angry at being belittled. He shouted that he didn't care. It would be known whether it did or not after seeing it. However, their debate suddenly stopped because they heard the sound of a twig being stepped on by someone, and they also felt the presence of a very strong demonic ki. The pig and the squirrel were really frightened and immediately separated. The squirrel and the pig ran in opposite directions and threatened to deal with each other again next time. The demon that the pig and the squirrel sensed was the Kui of the seven-tailed fox. She ran so fast only to find Dei, her sister. Within Dei's arms, the seven-tailed fox said whether her sister knew that she almost died some time ago. The Silver Moon Demon King surrounded himself with a bunch of demons. The seven-tailed kept complaining. She thought she would never see her sister again. Dai asked if the seven-tailed fox could escape because of help from others. The seven-tailed confirmed it. How did her sister find out? Dai asked her sister to look at something in the front yard of Nifan's house. A bird was seen being skewered and dried in the sun. Seven-tails was immediately mentally hit by the sight of it. Wasn't that the Silver Moon Demon King? Dai confirmed it. The Silver Moon Demon King was already dead. Not only had his feathers been removed, but he had also been cleaned. She was sure that the Demon King had been salted for a few days and would be ready for the next day. Dai continued, it must have been Master Nifan who sent someone to rescue Seven-Tailed from danger. Everything was not a coincidence, but was all in Master Nifan's vision. The Seven-Tailed still did not pay attention to her sister's words as she was still in shock knowing that the Silver Moon Demon King had been salted. Dai also thought of something and hoped that the Seven-Tailed would ask. The Seven-Tailed asked what her sister was expecting. In a happy mood, Dai said that Master Nifan had once told her that he wanted to let the Seven-Tailed turn into a human and serve Master Nifan together with her. But she was not sure whether his intentions were true or not. She was afraid that she would offend Master Nifan if she returned to the residence with the Seven-Tailed. Dai also told Seven-Tailed that since the demons were currently without a leader and were in a state of chaos, she wanted Seven-Tailed to become the Demon King. Seven-Tailed should discipline the demon group and provide a good hunting environment for Master Nifan. Dai also happily continued when Seven-Tailed had gained her strength and confirmed Master Nifan's intentions. She would bring the Seven-Tailed back together to serve Master Nifan. Seven-Tailed was getting more frantic. She didn't know what to say about her sister's ridiculous thoughts. Seven-Tailed jumped up and cried. She didn't want to be a demon king. Dai replied that Tailed 7 was now strong and deserved to be a demon king, but Tailed 7 was too shy. The Seven-Tailed asked why Dai didn't become the demon king. Dai shyly said that Nifan's master had been holding her back. It was rude of her to leave without permission from Master Nifan. Seeing his sister's behavior like that made Seven-Tailed speechless. Her sister has changed a lot. Dai then gave Seven-Tailed a bowl of soup, and she would think about the Demon King later. Some time passed. Master Mufing and King Yun had now arrived at Nifan's residence. Master Mufing asked if it was Master Nifan's residence that Xing Yun was talking about. Xing Yun reminded her father not to talk about anything Master Nifan didn't like and not to make him upset. Master Mufing, who was scolded by his daughter, was happy. He felt that his daughter had grown up since she had scolded her father. Master Mufing asked Xing Yun not to worry. Master Nifan was an expert and he would not treat him badly. They knocked on the door of Nifan's residence afterward. Nifan immediately opened the door. King Yun immediately started to speak. She said that her father had heard about Nifan's journey to the west and her father insisted on meeting Nifan soon. She apologized for being troublesome again. Nifan addressed Master Mufing as Uncle Mufing. Master Mufing said that he had wanted to meet Master Nifan for a long time, but now he could finally meet him. He apologized for his rudeness. Nifan asked Master Mufing not to be too polite to him and he let them in. They talked about a few things until Master Mufing asked something that made King Yun panic. Master Mufing asked numerous questions in a row. Where was Nifan from? How many members were in his family? What stage of cultivation he was currently in? And what about Nifan's job? How much did he earn in a month? When the last question came out of his father's mouth, whether Nifan was married, King Yun immediately stepped on his father's foot so hard that Master Mufing was shocked and vomited blood, which of course made Master Mufing correct his words. He apologized for his impoliteness, but Nifan didn't seem to care about that question. He simply said that he hadn't expressed his gratitude for the medicinal materials King Yun had given him and offered them if they didn't mind staying at his place for a while, and he would prepare lunch. He would prepare mushroom soup for lunch. King Yun thanked him for his offer. She would wait. Meanwhile, her foot was still stepping on her father's foot, which made her father still endure the unbearable pain in his foot. Continue previous story. Holding the pain in his feet, Master Mufeng felt confused. Nifen immediately went inside to his kitchen and closed the door. While Nifen wasn't there, King Yun put on her evil face and scolded his dad. Master Mufeng scared and asked King Yun to listen to his explanation first. Master Mufeng said that an expert like Master Nifen must have returned to modesty and may have accepted the great truth. Either mortal or immoral were just the same for him, there was no difference. Still, King Yun couldn't accept that excuse. She pulled out a knife she was sharpening, showed it to her dad. Master Mufeng pushed away the knife and said that treasure and ordinary things are no different in Nifen's view, but still the immortal loved money. He kept explaining to King Yun. After all those words, Master Mufeng now realized that Nifen would light the firewood and they should do something to help him. Nifen was seen to wash the vegetables he prepared to make soup in the kitchen. Suddenly, Master Mufeng and King Yun came to him. Nifen surely asked why did they come to the kitchen. Master Mufeng proudly said that he couldn't just sit and watch, so they both would help Nifen to cook. It turned out that Nifen didn't ask for Master Mufeng's help to cook, but to chop the firewood in the yard using the demon's sword instead. It was only been a few sword slashes. Master Mufeng already seemed exhausted. Seeing that making Nifen asked Master Mufeng no to force himself. Master Mufeng changed his exhaustion expression and said that wasn't a big deal, he wasn't exhausted at all. Master Mufeng said to himself that it was indeed no problem unless the firewood he chopped was the spiritual wood and the sword he used to chop was a fallen demon's sword. With an intimidated look on his face, he continued, it all made sense. There was no normal things in Nifen's house. The fallen demon's sword had always been thirst for blood since his birth. According to legend, obtaining it would be equivalent to being granted the supreme blessing to become a realm demon, and no more darkness in the sword, only the purity that flowed within. Even though the firewood Master Mufeng was currently chopping looked like the common wood, he would need an 80% power every time he chopped. The path of spiritual power in his body felt a powerful quake. He couldn't believe he now were the person who chopped spiritual wood. Master Mufeng looked as if he was lifeless now. As Nifen was seeing this sight, he shouted in fear for Master Mufeng to stop chopping the wood. Even so, in a sort of in-between state, Master Mufeng said that he was all okay. He couldn't humiliate himself in their first meet, he would still be able to do that. Master Mufeng was really down to see his pathetic self. Nifen asked Master Mufeng to take a rest. Eagle mushroom soup will be ready soon, do not force yourself. With caution, Master Mufeng understood and thanked for Nifen's understanding. Nifen went back inside his house to finish his cooking. Yet Master Mufeng just realized something. Eagle mushroom soup? He then understood was the eagle in question that won the Silver Moon Demon King. He just sensed the demonic aura of the Silver Moon Demon King around. Master Mufeng felt pressured, but he tried to deny it. It was impossible. How would Nifen do that? It looked very cruel. Not long after he tossed away his thoughts about the cooked Silver Moon Demon King, suddenly Nifen came, bringing eagle mushroom soup, which there were the head, legs, wings of an eagle in the soup, making Master Mufeng almost dead. He screamed inside, wasn't that the real Silver Moon Demon King? Nifen told Master Mufeng and King Yun if poultry soup was good for the body. Master Mufeng felt exhausted from a small work, whether his health condition was not okay. It was better for Master Mufeng to take the soup to recover his strength. If there were old wounds, he could observe them. If Nifen could heal it, then Master Mufeng would no longer in exhaustion after chopping some woods. Master Mufeng turned into stone inside. He felt useless. He couldn't do such ordinary thing like chopping the firewood. He should find a way to repay his kindness, otherwise, he would fear that his fate with Master Nifen would be over. Also, the smell of eagle mushroom soup was so delicious he couldn't concentrate. Just by smelling the soup, he seemed delighted. Apparently, Nifen didn't miss to add jelly to the soup, making Master Mufeng and King Yun stood still. Whispering to her dad, King Yun said that there was a rumor that Silver Moon Demon King was missing, but the soup. King Yun didn't continue her words, and Master Mufeng smiled and said that spiritual wood was used as firewood, dragon fireball as fuel, spiritual water as soup, rare medicinal herbs as a complementary ingredient, Sworn ice was also used as supplementary Nefan boiled Silver Moon Demon King as well. It was just beyond their wildest dreams. They would probably not believe if they had reached the pinnacle of life after death. Nifan, who had been observed by Master Mufing, accidentally poured too much jelly. Nifan handed a bowl of soup to Master Mufing to eat immediately. Master Mufing received the soup and would eat real soon. He kept looking at the bowl of soup in his hand, and he found cooked head of Silver Moon Demon King appearing in it, making him all silence. He then changed his expression to a passionate one to eat his soup. He said to himself that he apologized to the Silver Moon Demon King since his appearance was currently very tempting to his tongue. Master Mufing immediately gulped down his soup and felt a great sensation. His surroundings turned into a seaside scene. Master Mufing felt that it was a Taoist flow, the real strong one. He also felt the expansion of his spiritual power from Danshan. He thought it could be exploded any time. As he ripped his clothes, Master Mufing said that he wanted to be Master Nifan's carpenter for the rest of his life. Actually, it was all just happening in Master Mufing's subconscious. Seeing her father, who seemed to be out of his mind, King Yun was astonished. King Yun had a thought that there were a lot of rare ingredients used in the eagle mushroom soup. She believed that it was impossible for the whole immortal cultivator realm to find more precious thing than this soup. She was worried if her cultivation would be able to withstand the soup's power. King Yun scooped up the soup and put it in her mouth. Instantly, she entered into her subconscious. She was in the seaside and said that the Taoist flow was really strong there. Not only the Taoist flow was also the delicious taste of the food. A warm feeling wrapped around her body. Suddenly, she felt hot that it melted her clothes. King Yun just realized somebody next to here. Her dad wore nothing. Back to reality. Nifan asked them both about the soup, whether it was tasty. They both slammed the bowl on the table and said in unison that the soup was truly great. Nifan was grateful that the taste suited their palate. Master Mufing thanked Nifan for the meal. As it was their first visit, Master Mufing brought Nifan a little gift. Nifan was excited, but he was shy. Nifan said that they were too kind, however, Nifan asked them to show the treasure they brought. Master Mufing reached into his sleeve and said that he indeed brought that precious treasure. It was the treasure of Li-nianfan Immortal Pavilion that had been passed down from generation to generation, a proselytizing relic of the entire Li-nianfan Pavilion master. It was a sign of kindness from Li-nianfan Immortal Pavilion. Nifan asked whether it was a crystal ball. But all of a sudden, the crystal ball emitted light and displayed the monitor screen, a monitor showing a lecture from the master of the Immortal Palace Li-nianfan. Upon seeing it, Nifan had an astonished expression. It was explained that it was a missionary relic and a symbol of highest priority of Li-nianfan Immortal Pavilion that almost all pavilion masters had. Missionary imprints could be formed and printed in the form of missionary relics. It could capture what was in one's mind. Master Mufing asked Nifan not to mind accepting it. Nifan asked whether the crystal ball was a TV. Master Mufing, of course, asked back what the TV was. Nifan explained that TV was a special product from his hometown. A box that could display an image, that TV could display a program and allow the viewers to observe about the events that happen in the world in their house comfortably. Nifan loved to watch cultivation series on TV. Master Mufing and King Yun misunderstood upon hearing Nifan's words, and surely they couldn't understand all the explanation about TV that had exploded their head. Too much information received. King Yun asked her dad whether it was all about immoral realm. Master Mufing thought so, and the TV thing Nifan talked about was a magical item at a higher level than a missionary relic or crystal ball. Compared to the missionary relic or crystal ball of Li-nianfan Immortal Pavilion that could just record the experiences, the TV could accommodated and displayed all of supernatural power you could choose at will. Master Mufing was completely desperate. He was determined to do his best to repent for his mistake of not being able to cut wood properly. He didn't expect, even though he had brought a missionary relic, it meant nothing for Nifan. Master Mufing thought that his relationship with Nifan was over. Nifan held that missionary relic and said it was really nice and very handy to carry around. But why did its program just like an online class? After watching the online class, Nifan felt his stress coming on. Could he change the program? It seemed that Nifan had deleted the whole contents of missionary relic all of a sudden. It left Master Mufing in shock. The missionary relic contained a millennia-old relic of Ling-yan immortal pavilion and is simply deleted by Nefan. Nefan innocently asked how to record the image. Master Mufeng fixed his expression with a smile, explained to Nefan how it worked. All that Nefan had to do was to think of something in his mind and it would be recorded automatically. With a grim look on his face, Nefan laughed and said, "How about that?" However, Nefan dropped his hidden intentions. He said to himself that he actually wanted to try whether he could project some nice pictures, but it didn't matter. He didn't want to scare Master Mufeng and Chin off later if he did save the pictures. Nefan tried other pictures to be recorded, which was the TV series he had already watched. It was Journey to the West. Master Mufeng and King Yun were stunned to see it. They misunderstood that was the real immortal realm. They really couldn't believe that what they just saw was the ancient immortal realm. As they both were in shock, Nefan only regretted that the screen displayed by the missionary relic was too small. It might be more fun if seen on IMAX. Upon hearing Nefan's words, Master Mufeng and King Yun screamed out that they were satisfied just to watch that. Master Mufeng inwardly said that he didn't expect to see the immortal realm by his own eyes. It really was an incredible experience. Nefan thanked them for the gift because it was a great item. After the show, Nefan asked them to wait for him in the front yard while he would be cleaning the table and so on. Master Mufeng and King Yun thanked him for the kindness. Nefan, who took the soup away, made Master Mufeng ask what Nefan would do with it. Nefan said that he would throw it away. As they heard his words, made them both shout for Nefan not to throw the soup away. Nefan said that the evil was too big, they couldn't finish their food. It wouldn't be good if it was stored for too long. So he decided to just throw it away. Day and Blackie had the meal as well. It would be great if there was a refrigerator to keep the food. Master Mufeng and King Yun were speechless when they saw what Nefan was doing, as they couldn't comprehend well due to it being too high. Master Mufeng, with fear, stuttering, and trembling, called out to Nefan if Nefan allowed it. Could he pack the soup? He wanted to bring it home. Moving on to Ling-yan Immortal Palace. Master Mufeng and King Yun had returned from Nefan's house to the cries of one of the elders. The elder was grateful because Master Mufeng had returned. He had a report to talk to that was an advanced secret realm has emerged in the west. Master Mufeng asked the noble elders not to panic and to talk slowly. Master Mufeng also brought them a tasty food. Why didn't they talk while had some food? The noble elders shouted furiously. It wasn't the time for meal. Mount Dezumo had found the secret realm that had been seen by a lot of groups. If Master Mufeng didn't go sooner, then he would be late. One of the elders explained to King Yun, who seemed to have no idea about the secret realm. The secret realm was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity only for immortal cultivator with cultivation benefits. This took hundreds of years to unlock, and it wasn't usually discovered when before it was known. Nobody knew how it was made or opened. Everyone knew that there were not only opportunities for cultivation, but also rare treasures. Anyone who could take control of the secret realm would have a chance at it. The elder hadn't finished his explanation because the noble elder slapped him into silence. The noble elder had explained everything to Master Mufeng as well and prepared some magic items as supplies. Then Master Mufeng should leave immediately. But Master Mufeng lightly said that he wouldn't go. The noble elder stunned as he heard Master Mufeng's decision. What did he mean by not going? Master Mufeng cheerfully said that he wouldn't leave. Even though there were good things in the secret realm, there were also dangers. The noble elder was even more clueless about his decision not to go. Once again, Master Mufeng asked the noble elder not to panic. They should see the treasure he brought for them instead. Master Mufeng showed them a rice box he brought. Master Mufeng said that he met a great person who gave it to him. Seeing the rice box made the elders surprised. The box looked like a very perfect box-shaped craft. They could also sense key power within. When Master Mufeng opened the box, he said even though the item Master Nefan made was incredible, however, he wanted them to look at the soup inside the box. Rather than the secret realm, the soup he brought could be considered as opportunity. Seeing the soup inside the box made the three elders gleaming. Plus, the ingredients used were all the rare ones. The three of them flabbergasted, too stunned to speak. In tears, the noble elder devoured the soup without sharing it with the other elders. Master Mufeng was happy to see them eating the soup well. Both Master Mufeng and King Yun decided to return to the residence. King Yun told her dad that if she wasn't mistaken, Master Niffen talked about the refrigerator. King Yun asked her dad what the refrigerator was. Master Mufing recalled, according to Master Niffen's words, presumably a refrigerator was something to keep food cool. Its presence was still unknown. However, it was an important thing for Master Niffen. He wasn't sure whether Master Niffen said that on purpose or he gave a hint. The elders who had devoured the soup shouted that the soup was better than the secret realm of Mount Izumo. Master Mufing stopped his steps as he heard that and came closer to the elders. Master Mufing happily asked whether Mount Izumo was a snow-capped mountain on the west. The elders confirmed it. It was a snow-capped mountain. Master Mufing understood his heart was truly full of victory. He believed that Master Niffen not only knew about the presence of the secret realm, but also discovered the treasure within the secret realm. Master Mufing proudly said that it was a blessing for him to be able to help Master Niffen. Therefore, he would go to get the refrigerator. In a flash, he darted away to the secret realm. Initially, Master Mufing didn't want to go. However, after hearing Niffen's words about the fridge, he finally decided to go to the secret realm to obtain the fridge. The fridge referred to was certainly different from the one Niffen referred to. The scene was back to Niffen's house at the backyard. There was Day, who seemed to be struggling and thinking hard. It turned out that Day played chess alone. Niffen suddenly came and surprised her from behind and impressed because Day had finished playing chess. Day stammeringly said that the inspiration came all of a sudden and she didn't know if she made the right move. Niffen patted Day on the shoulder, saying that he was more than happy if Day could play it and got it right. Chess game was the question presented by the system at that time, Niffen added. He just stared at it, and it took a while for him to solve it. Niffen continued with a gloomy look on his face, even though he didn't know the prize for finishing the chess was household items, such as pots and pans. Now, since Day had been able to finish it, Niffen would give her a present. Day subtly rejected it because staying with Niffen alone made her happy. She didn't deserve to receive a gift. However, Niffen was upset since Day rejected. Niffen said sincerely and with a smile that he had lived alone in that isolated courtyard of the residence for many years. He should thank Day for her presence for being by his side. Meanwhile, Master Mufing was shivering from the cold so that his face was pale, as he was currently in the northernmost part of the snowy region, Mount Izumo. Not long after, the elders arrived to shelter him. If Master Mufing couldn't withstand the cold, it would be better to go back because Mount Izumo was cold areas. Master Mufing had been living in the south for years. It was normal that he couldn't be in a cold area like that. Master Mufing refused it adamantly. He confidently said that he wouldn't be back. He planned to finish the secret realm. How could he go back? Shortly, they had reached the entrance of secret realm, but a chessboard was seen covering it. Master Mufing asked whether it was the secret realm. The elder confirmed it. The secret realm had been open for days. However, nobody had managed to finish the game yet. Many of them were trying to finish, but they got hurt and failed instead. Still shivering, Master Mufing looked at the chessboard. He recalled that it looked similar with what Master Niffen had. It made him misunderstood. He thought that everything was related to Master Niffen. He confidently said if he might be able to finish it, but everyone underestimated him and told Master Mufing to just give up. Everyone doubted him. A man suddenly approached Master Mufing. He was Taoist King Yan. The Taoist greeted Master Mufing, whom he had not seen for a long time. Taoist Yan said that he was the one who discovered the secret realm, but he couldn't resolve the puzzle of the chess up to now. Once the news was widespread in the hope that all the forces of people could solve it. In a few days, the secret realm would disappear without anyone being able to solve it. The game was too hard to resolve. Master Mufing couldn't possibly do it, therefore he didn't need to push himself. Master Mufing, who was getting colder and still shivering, interrupted, who was saying that he couldn't do it. But his words interjected by someone who shouted, saying that no one could finish that game. It was Taoist Tin, someone who seemed to be an expert in the chess game. Some young people didn't recognize Taoist Tin. The people explained that there was rumor saying that Taoist Tin had unrivaled talent in chess game. He reached the saber stage at the age of 40. Nobody knew when was the Taoist interested in playing chess. However, as a result, his cultivation did not increase, but was hindered. He isolated himself with the door closed for 400 years, just to play chess and not cultivate at all. But when it came to playing chess, he deserved to be considered number one. Taoist Tin approached the entrance that was blocked by the chessboard. He intended to solve it. He got prepared and tried to move the piece that indicated he was starting the game. Nothing happened for a while. Taoist Yan thought that the game had solved, but it was wrong. It turned out Taoist Tin failed his game and he played more pieces in anger. Again, there was nothing happened in a moment. However, since Taoist Tin made the wrong move, the chess counterattack hit Taoist Tin directly that he disappeared into space. Still shivering, Master Mufeng murmured that he had expected it. There was only a way to solve it. If they made the wrong first move, then next moves would also be wrong. Taoist Tin made a mistake in his first move, that was why he lost. Master Mufeng endured the cold to sneeze. Taoist Yan thought that it seemed Taoist Tin had lost, so there seemed to no hope anymore and no one could finish the game. Taoist Yan and the others turned around to get out of there and wouldn't bother with the secret realm anymore. However, the door of the secret realm was open all of a sudden, left everyone in shock. Master Mufeng, who was almost frozen, told them to go inside immediately. It might be warmer there. Master Mufeng and Taoist Yan entered the secret realm. Taoist Yan praised Master Mufeng, who was incredible. He hadn't met Master Mufeng for a year, but his skill to play chess had improved greatly. Master Mufeng said that it was nothing. Hearing that made Taoist Yan surprised, of course. Taoist Yan concluded apparently not only Master Mufeng's skill had improved a lot, but now he was also good at pretending. Taoist Yan asked Master Mufeng about where he found the good opportunity to learn. Master Mufeng was about to told him, but he dropped it. He mumbled he thought Master Nefan would rather to keep quiet and his whereabouts shouldn't be known. So how she responds to that question? One of the elders on the back said that the family of Ling-yan immortal Paolin was good at gardening, but not at playing chess. Even Taoist Tin couldn't finish the game, but how could Master Mufeng do so? It seemed Master Mufeng just being lucky. The other elders got upset and asked him not to say that. What if Master Mufeng got mad? However, Master Mufeng didn't seem to be angry. He turned around and gave his thumbs up saying that was true. He was just lucky. He just tried and didn't think he would make it. Everyone felt envious by Master Mufeng's fortune, but it seemed not with Taoist Yan. With a wicked smile on his face, he said that it was interesting. As they entered the cave deeper and deeper, the wind and the cold were getting more intense. Master Mufeng said to Taoist Yan if he was hallucinating as it got even colder inside. Taoist Yan told Master Mufeng that he wasn't delusional, it was indeed colder. Taoist Yan asked Master Mufeng to turn around just to find out the elders have frozen from the cold. Master Mufeng was panicked. Had they all frozen to death? How about him? Would he also die there? Taoist Yan said that they did nothing because the items in the secret realm were not items that could be possessed by ordinary people. Such small sacrifices were necessary. Taoist Yan suggested them both to go deeper inside. After a while they had arrived, they came to the end of the cave of the secret realm. Taoist Yan and Master Mufeng surprised to see something in front of them. Taoist Yan wondered what it was. There was an ice crystal on the altar that could be reached by climbing the stairs. Taoist Yan said that was the treasure in the secret realm. Master Mufeng was even overjoyed by himself, saying that he finally found a fridge Master Nifan wanted. Taoist Yan, surely confused by the word fridge mentioned by Master Mufeng. As Master Mufeng was really happy with his silly antics, Taoist Yan, who looked at him muttering whether Master Mufeng was a dumb or his brain had frozen, or he maybe was hypothermic, that he was talking nonsense. Taoist Yan said that the crystal was capable of freezing the living as well as anything else. Master Mufeng had reached the altar and came closer to the ice crystal. As he saw it, he asked whether it was called a fridge. If he brought it Master Nifan, he would definitely be happy. But suddenly, Taoist Yan was already behind him with murderous intent and preparing to attack. The assault had harmed someone. Moving on to King Yun. She had a bad feeling about her dad. Moving on to Nifan's residence at night. Nifan called out Day, who was preparing whether Day had all done. Day changed her clothes, which looked perfectly suitable on her. She asked Nifan if Nifan was about to take her to the town. Nifan casually confirmed. Day was a little anxious, saying she didn't know the rules in the city. She was worried that she would cause problems for Nifan. As he grabbed her hand, Nifan said to set it all aside and just enjoy since tonight was New Year's Eve. Back to the secret realm. Master Mufeng was seen lying on the ground. Apparently, Taoist Yan had attacked Master Mufeng. He mumbled it was not because of the dragon fire fox remnant protector's inherited secret treasure. He would definitely be turned into an ice sculpture. He didn't expect Master Mufing could endure it till the last. He had not finished his words. The secret realm was extremely difficult to reach since the ancient time and survival was challenging. There were also treasure hunters who competed for treasure and killed each other. Stabel blamed him for doing that to Master Mufing. Taoist Yan stretched out his hand and took the crystal. However, suddenly Taoist Yan instantly froze in place. Silence began to fall in the cave until a few moments later, Master Mufing woke up from his unconsciousness. He was confused whether someone had stabbed him in the back. He was lucky from having the Silver Moon Demon King soup that Master Nifen gave. He could feel the soup transforming into spiritual power that protected him from attack and cold. He happily assured himself everything was just as Master Nifen's thought. It was all in Master Nifen's vision. As Master Mufing looked into the crystal, he was surprised to see Taoist Yan already frozen. Master Mufing tried to wake Taoist Yan up. Unfortunately, Taoist Yan stood still. Master Mufing gave his last salute, saying Taoist Yan had accompanied him entering the cave. It would always be in his thought. Master Mufing pulled out the rice box given by Master Nifen from his supplies and put the crystal inside. He was truly happy beyond compare. He mumbled. Master Nifen gave him the rice box, and it turned out to be the place to store the fridge or the crystal. A truly genius. Master Mufing immediately left the place, as well as Taoist Yan. As Taoist left behind, Taoist Yan, who was trapped in the ice, instantly crying. Moving on to a town regularly visited by Nifen at night. There were lots of lanterns decorating the streets and houses. Kids ran around with lanterns in their hands, which made them bump into the Nifen in front of them. It seemed the kids recognized Nifen and wished Nifen a happy new year. Nifen wished them back. Suddenly, the mother of those two kids came telling them to be careful and not bump into others. She was Aunt Zhang. Aunt Zhang realized there was Nifen. She said that it had been a while since she had seen Nifen, but she understood why. Nifen now had a girlfriend. Nifen blushed and asked Aunt Zhang not to misunderstand. They were just friends. Aunt Zhang kept teasing Nifen. She indeed knew they were just friends while being all chuckling and teasing. Day tried to explain to Aunt Zhang that she wasn't Nifen's girlfriend. She said aloud that she was just Master Nifen's pet. Hearing that made Aunt Zhang's thoughts more and more uncontrollable. Aunt Zhang blushed and said to herself that both of them were incredible. Kids nowadays are on another level. Nifen got panicked and yelled that Day made it even more complicated. Nifen gently hit Day's head and told Day not to say such things that made others misunderstood. Aunt Zhang called out Nanan to come because there was Nifen. Bringing a bucket of eggs, Nanan called Nifen. She smilingly said that Nifen had previously saved her, but she hadn't thanked him yet. Nanan handed over the egg basket to Nifen as an act of gratitude for saving her. Nifen thanked Nanan. Nanan was a good girl. Nanan also said that she would join Immortal sect. She would learn to fight the monsters and protect everyone. Nifen seemed confused, but Aunt Zhang explained that since Nifen saved Nanan, Nanan was determined to learn about immortal cultivation. Nanan had prepared to be present where many sects would attend Lantern Festival to receive new disciples. Nifen praised Nanan. She was determined. Nifen told Nanan while patting her head, if Nanan had a cultivator to be the master, then he would give Nanan a big present. With sparkle in her eyes, she asked whether Nifen said the truth. Nifen confirmed, and they made pinky promise. Now the night was growing old and fireworks were set off to mark the beginning of the new year. Everyone enjoyed the incredible sight in the air, as well as Nifen and Day. Day was really impressed. She asked whether it was called as immortal firework. Nifen confirmed, and in his hometown the air pollution was so bad that fireworks were banned. Nifen flirted, saying that Day was prettier than the fireworks. Day looked down and said that Nifen should not make her blush. They continued to wander around. Day saw a place and asked Nifen what place was that. It was a brothel where there were lots of couples in love. Nifen's face turned, asking if Day was interested in such place. Day thought she smelled something familiar in that place. Nifen got more panicked and told Day not to be interested in such place. That was the place where adult men and women met to discuss about their relationship. Day didn't understand the relationship word. Nifen took Day away and told that it was a dangerous place, so Day shouldn't come closer. Of course, Day misunderstood. According to Nianfan, it was a dangerous place, so it was indeed dangerous. She wouldn't ask anything about it anymore. It turned out what Nianfan said really happened. The brothel was dangerous. A female worker's body who worked at the brothel suddenly dried up as if she lost her life force to something, which sent the woman straight to her death. There was a flaming red-eyed figure behind her. A man who looked like a demon laughing because now was the time to do something very important. The demon immediately left the brothel heading somewhere, moving on the scene where Nanan enjoyed the wonderful fireworks show by herself. Suddenly, there was a people who shouted telling anyone who wanted to sign up should come closer. Nanan didn't know what to sign up for, but she seemed interested. If Nanan was interested, it was an admission to become a disciple of the Cultivator sect. Back to Nianfan and Day, which walked through the city at night. Nianfan showed and introduced everything Day wanted to know. Nianfan unintentionally met Nanan along with a pretty woman. She introduced the woman who was with her. She was her master. Nanan had joined the immortal Cultivator sect, so she would be immortal cultivator in the future. Nianfan praised Nanan for her hard work in finding sect to join. Nanan was laughed at by the people around her for joining the sect, which it was Golden Lotus sect, a small nasty sect. Everyone laughed at Nanan. It was only Golden Lotus sect which took disciples with low-level spiritual roots. Seeing Nanan in a daze, Nianfan asked what happened to her. Nanan said everyone told Nanan that she was the one with low level of spiritual roots. Perhaps when she reached cultivation, there would be nothing for her to cultivate. Nanan sadly continued despite the fact that she had found a master who was willing to accept her. Seeing that Nanan was gloomy, Nianfan tried to cheer her up. Nianfan said still Nanan's master selected her for her talent. Nanan was even stronger than Nianfan. As he had promised, Nianfan gave a small gift to Nanan for finding a master. Nianfan then pulled out all of his stationery while writing something down. Nianfan told Nanan that he wasn't like her. He was just a talentless mortal, therefore he didn't have the spiritual root. He couldn't give Nanan something precious. Nianfan passionately wrote down the breath of words and he would give it away to Nanan. In the distance, there was an exploding light that seemed to be coming from where Nianfan was writing the breath of words. Apparently King Lu and Xu saw the light direction and instantly surprised. King Lu asked what kind of spiritual energy he felt was. It turned out that the demon man was also there, witnessing the light from a pavilion rooftop. With an evil smile, he said that it seemed interesting. Nianfan wrote 4 verses of poetry and finished it. People who were still amazed by the light that appeared earlier became confused whether it was a new firework this year. Seeing the words Nianfan wrote down, Day said to herself many people were doing immortal cultivation that had a long life. Nianfan's words meant that Nianfan wanted Nanan to cultivate Tao. Meanwhile, Nanan's master seemed shocked at what happened. She wondered who the young master was. King Lu and Shai Yu apparently were there and realized the source of the spiritual energy came from Nianfan. Nianfan handed the script to Nanan, saying that Nanan should work harder. Nanan happily thanked Nianfan for the gift. Now Nianfan realized that there were King Lu and Shai Yu. Nianfan said to King Lu if Nanan was a new cultivator in Immortal Dynasty. If he didn't mind, Nianfan asked King Ku to take care of Nanan. Upon hearing Nianfan's request, King Lu stunned. Nianfan realized his rudeness and said if he was going too far, and if King Lu didn't object, he would come to visit. King Lu immediately grabbed Nianfan's hand, saying that there was no need to be hesitant. Leave it to him. Nianfan politely said to King Lu, the Immortals, and the others to continue their talks. His Immortal would leave first. Nianfan said goodbye. King Lu, who was a king, bowed down as he saw Nianfan leave. Again, Nanan's master left in shock, seeing a king even bowed down respectfully to that young master. Realizing her master looked pale, Nanan asked if she was okay. While looking at Nanan, the master of Golden Lotus sect screamed internally, who was this kid she had just accepted as a disciple. After Nianfan left, King Lu sighed deeply. He told Shai Yu, when Nianfan was serious, he became scarier. He glanced at Nanan, saying that what had been given to Nanan was the breath of words. He terrified to think it might be the highest treasure owned by the dynasty. It was much better than anything he had ever seen. Shai Yu day that Nianfan gave it to the little kid who had a low level of spiritual root. King Lu reprimanded Shai Yu not to call Nanan as someone who had a low level of spiritual root, since Nanan had received Nianfan's help. Even a pig could be a successful cultivator if it got help from Nianfan. King Lu asked them to do what Nephin had requested and would discuss with the master of Golden Lotus sect. Suddenly, something flew away, approaching over King Lu that looked like the demon man. King Lu got panicked as he sensed the demon man's presence and shouted who there was. It turned out that the demon man kidnapped Nanan and took her away. King Lu, who realized that the demon king was a demon Taoist, screamed frantically at the top of his lungs. Yu, who also acknowledged it, said that whoever caught by demon man wouldn't come back alive. Yu asked her dad, Nephin just told them to take care of Nanan, so what should they do? King Lu got more panicked and cried, telling them to go after the demon man. The demon man took Nanan away from the crowd. Nanan, who had been released from his grip, murmured, "Kill." The demon man picked Nanan like a little kitten, asking what was Nanan murmured. Nanan screamed if the demon man was about to eat her, then did it immediately. However, the demon man said that Nanan misunderstood. His intention was to take the breath of words roll. If she didn't hand it to him, that he would kill Nanan. She said confidently to take her life anyway. Even if it was to cost her her life, she wouldn't let the breath of words go because Journey to the West had given her encouragement. Sun Wukong wouldn't surrender to the evil like the demon man. Surely the demon man didn't understand Nanan's words. Suddenly, there was an attack aimed at him. He managed to halt the attack, of course. He knew that it was King Lu, Yu, and his wife. King Lu elegantly came out of the flames, saying to the demon man that he didn't have any idea how his action could make the expert furious. The demon man replied, did King Lu mean that it was the young master who wrote those words? The young master was indeed special. The words he wrote contained big spiritual power. He must be an old monster who surpassed the god's test, and he utilized the looks of a pretty guy. He himself did the same. King Lu, who had run out of patience, immediately gearing up with his attack mode. He said that the demon man just like a toad in a well. King Lu jumped and started attacking the demon man with extraordinary power, but he was still able to dodge the attack. As King Lu was about to perform his powerful attack, Yu suddenly shouted to King Lu not to harm Nanan. The warning made him stop the attack. Thus, the demon man had a chance to counterattack King Lu. However, King Lu noticed the demon man's attack and immediately used Earth Dragon technique that hit directly half of the demon man's body. The demon man, who had already lost one arm, said that Qianling's immortal dynasty Earth Dragon technique was the enemy of all witchcraft. That seemed to be true. King Lu responded casually and cautiously. Since the demon man had known about it, then why did he still come to his region and make some troubles? The demon man smiled and then disappeared, saying, can King Lu guess? King Lu then realized something. Yu and his wife had been captured by the demon man. The tentacle-like thing wrapped around them both. They asked for King Lu's help. Taking out his sword, King Lu said he would save them. But King Lu's wife felt something overwhelming from the tentacles. King Lu had a nosebleed from the sight. His wife shouted in annoyance, why did King Lu still have time to think of such things at such a critical time? From behind Yu and King Lu's wife, there was the demon man who had transformed into his demonic perfect form, laughed. The demon said that King Lu was too reckless. How could he come unprepared? King Lu gave up Yu and King Lu's wife just for a kid who had a low level of spiritual root. But the demon was unbothered. He pulled out Nanan and was about to swallow her. King Lu shouted to the demon to stop his action, but unfortunately, Nanan was immediately swallowed by the demon. The demon said that he actually didn't want to swallow her, but it tasted good. The most fun thing was King Lu's panicked look. He loved it the most. Inside the demon's stomach, Nanan realized she had been swallowed by the demon along with the breath of words roll. She was sorry since she just joined the Golden Lotus sect, but was soon devoured by monster. She hoped she could be a strong, immortal cultivator in her next life and to protect Nephin. Something suddenly happened which surprised King Lu and everyone. The demon noticed something was wrong in his stomach. A hole appeared in his stomach from the inside and a person appeared. The demon panicked, asking who the person was. While Nanan, who was still inside the demon's stomach, said, God. The person who appeared from the demon's stomach just said a thing, disappear, which vanished the demon instantly. Yu and her mother also released from the demon's warp. Seeing the person who helped them, they seemed confused who the person was. King Lu approached them and said that person was a manifestation of the Taoism. Thoughts could be real, Words could be rules, strokes could be spring and autumn, and colors could set the sun and moon. The person was Xian Yi. Nanan and Xian Yi's arms asked about the demon's whereabouts. Xian Yi looked up at the moon and found that the demon had run away. The demon had returned into the demon man form. He was panicked and flew away in a full speed to avoid death. He had no idea how the breath of words could turn into a god. Xian Yi didn't seem to let the demon man escape. She let her power out and captured the demon man. The demon's foot was caught, made him panic even more. He screamed to let him go. He begged for mercy, but it was ignored by Xian Yi. The demon man who had been in front of Xian Yi and Nanan immediately burst into tears. He apologized, everything was his fault. He would be willing to become the expert's slave. He continued to seek mercy. Xian Yi held the demon's head gently, but the demon man seemed misunderstood. He thought that Xian Yi would grant him mercy, but it wasn't that easy. Xian Yi directly crushed the demon man and formed it into a pill. King Lu, his wife, and Shai Yu were shocked to death seeing the demon man disappear easily. Nanan, who saw the pill, looked at it with a disgusted expression. But Xian Yi told Nanan not to be afraid. That pill was the Yuan Yang stage. With the help of God, Nanan could live a long life. Xian Yi put the pill together on Nanan's body immediately. Nanan immediately fell asleep with that, and Xian Yi again disappeared into the breath of words. Moving on to the Golden Lotus sect that was seen packing up their belongings. A woman who was with her asked, wouldn't they be waiting for the little sister they just recruited? Carrying her stuff, the Golden Lotus master said that the little girl was kidnapped by a demon. How would she come back? The woman said, didn't King Lu save that girl, so perhaps. She hadn't finished her words, the sect master interrupted her, saying, even so, would King Lu be able to protect the girl forever? With a gloomy face, the sect master said that the girl was targeted by the devil. If she returned and was targeted again, then the Golden Lotus sect would get involved. She actually just wanted to hire a servant to wash her feet. It didn't matter if the person was just a person with low-level spiritual roots. Rushed away, the sect master saying that who knew that the girl was carrying such a big load. The Golden Lotus sect wouldn't be able to bear it. Not even a step away, and King Lu, who was holding Nanan, asked the sect master to stop. Of course, she couldn't ignore the king's call. The sect master bowed down and greeted King Lu. With a slightly odd look, King Lu said whether the sect master would save herself as well. She didn't have to worry, he had brought Nanan back. With a pressured face, the sect master said that King Lu didn't need to save her. The low-level spiritual root didn't deserve it. As King Lu heard her words, he got mad and shouted, how could a sect master say that? Nanan was a girl who received special attention from the expert. Even though she was just a low-level spiritual root, but she was blessed by the deity. The demonic Yuan Yang essence was already fully mixed in Nanan's body. The sect master was in shock upon hearing that. King Lu added Nanan had an unlimited potentials in the future. King Lu then asked where the Golden Lotus sect was. The sect master shyly said that the Golden Lotus sect was just a small sect in the northern part of the Qianlong dynasty, a sect that nobody knew about. King Lu, with a face full of intimidation at the sect master, said to take a good care of Nanan. Nothing should happen. If something happened, then King Lu didn't finish his words. The sect master felt pressured, drenched in cold sweat. She said to herself that King Lu was even scarier than a demon. King Lu then recalled there were some things that Nanan would be used to grow Kai in the future. King Lu gave away a pile of stuff that would definitely be useful for Nanan later. If it wasn't enough, then the sect master could send someone to take it from him. The sect master was getting more clueless. What was the true identity of the little girl? Again, King Lu asked the sect master if there were any more questions and anything she needed. With tears, the sect master promised that she would take a good care of Nanan. The woman who was with the sect master was also in tears while holding the stuff given by King Lu. She said to herself the one they accepted wasn't a disciple, it was an ancestor. And so the sect master walked northward back to his sect. Moving on to Nathan, who was on the way back along with Day. It turned out that there were two monsters who were watching them. Two wolf demons were on a tree. They mumbled the woman's meat was very sweet, especially the one who was still young. The man who was with the woman seemed dumb. All he had was just a youthful face. One of the wolves asked Nathan and Day's purpose to be there on the forest at night. The other said that it was the common thing a man and a woman did when they were all alone in the forest, so when they both started to do their thing, it was their time to attack. Day seemed to realize something. Seeing Day anxious, Nifan asked whether something happened. Day said if there was a voice behind them. Nifan immediately pulled Day closer to him, saying his apologies for taking Day until the late night. He had too much fun. With a gentlemanlike expression, Nifan said that even though he wasn't a strong man, he would protect Day if something happened. Day was impressed with Nifan's great act. As Nifan was by her side, Day said they should return home soon. She was no longer afraid. While they were walking, Day made a gesture using her hand. It turned out that she pulled out her technique and attacked the wolves to their death. Once they arrived at home, Day asked Nifan whether Nifan had an order to her. Nifan smilingly said that there was none. It had been late night, it was better to their own rooms. Suddenly, Day came closer to Nifan coincidentally and said, "Did Master Nifan feel tired after having fun all day? Did Nifan need her to serve him?" Nifan almost skipped a beat to hear Day's smooth voice and to smell her fragrant scent. He quickly turned around and told Day to go back to her room. Day must be too tired and he didn't need to be served. Nifan immediately closed his room's door. In his room, Nifan drenched in cold sweat. He thought he nearly got out of control. Meanwhile, Day astonished seeing her master. Then she would just go finish her other business. Moving on to the forest, the demons had gathered. A demon in the middle of the ring raised the flag and said that the Silver Moon Demon King had passed away and the Demon King election would begin shortly. It turned out the Seven-Tailed was also there. She looked scared. She cried too many demons were there, how to win against them. The Seven-Tailed decided to look from a little distance, not far from the fighting ring. Everyone chanted about the new Demon King. While engrossed in the battle arena, the Seven-Tailed was surprised by a bird demon who came out of nowhere using a wheelchair. The bird asked whether the Seven-Tailed came to participate in the Demon King election. She said languidly that her sister pushed her to participate. The bird initially didn't understand, but when he realized the number of tails belonging to the Seven-Tailed, he was shocked to death. He chuckled, saying that the Seven-Tailed wasn't bad, as she got higher cultivation at such a young age. Growing well, perhaps she would become the new Demon King. The Seven-Tailed cried and said to herself she couldn't tell the truth. She indeed came to become a Demon King. In the battle arena, the demons still cheering to elect the new Demon King. A demon elder asked them to be quiet. The Silver Moon Demon King had been no longer here. Were they trying to be the new Demon King? Did they think everyone could become one? The demon elder shouted, and the Silver Moon Demon King was around. He was the advisor. Today he came to welcome the rise of the new Demon King. He asked the challengers to come and fight. Seize the throne with blood, don't be afraid to die. The Seven-Tailed shivered to hear the encouraging words. In the middle of battle arena, a demon elder introduced the White Tiger Demon. He said, when the Silver Moon Demon King was alive, he was in the same position as him. A one-claw attack with the power to crush large rocks, a hand that could break mountains, the strongest in the western forest, White Tiger Demon King. The bird who was with the Seven-Tailed said the White Tiger finally came. The Seven-Tailed wondered if the bird knew him. The bird told the Seven-Tailed White Tiger was scared of the Silver Moon Demon King since he could fly. But when it came to power, White Tiger Demon King was the strongest among them. Chuckling, the old bird said if White Tiger became the Demon King, would they both agree? The two of them in question was still unknown. Back to the battle arena. Suddenly, something happened that surprised White Tiger. Another demon entered the arena. It was Silver Lion Demon King, the strongest in the southern forest. With a deep voice, Silver Lion requested to be included as the Demon King candidate. Not long after, a demon also came to request to be included in the election. It was the Bear Demon. He asked to be included in the list as well. Everyone seemed a bit surprised as they knew that he was the giant bear demon of the north. The old bird who was with the Seven-Tailed chuckled. He said that everyone had come. It would be more interesting. If the three of them participate, then the weak demons wouldn't dare to participate. The demon elder who was in the arena with the three Demon King candidates behind him asked if there was anyone who wanted to apply to become a Demon King. The three candidates' gazes were full of tension, so no one answered. But suddenly, there was voice said that they wanted to sign up. It was the Seven-Tailed. The old bird surely surprised, since when was she there? Did she not want to live anymore? The three Demon King candidates were all filled with questions. The seven-tailed sighed deeply. While walking, she said to herself if she could win against those candidates. As she got into the arena, she assured herself, if her sister said she could, then she could surely do. Her sister was always right. She confidently said that the position of the Demon King would be hers. Of course, the other Demon Kings cheered for the seven-tailed, who confidently became a Demon King. The cheers made the seven-tailed's guts sank. The Demon Elder asked everyone to be quiet because in the battle for the throne of the Demon King, all were welcome to participate, no exception. Since the challengers now were complete, now the battle was about to begin. The last one standing would be crowned as the Demon King. Trembling, the seven-tailed assured herself that her sister said that she could, and she seemed to be able to do so. White Tiger attacked first by destroying the arena. Silver Lion and Giant Bear weren't affected at all, but the seven-tailed was slammed into a tree. She screamed if it wasn't what her sister said. White Tiger continued to unleash his power to show his superiority among them. The gust of wind from the White Tiger's attack knocked them over, while the seven-tailed was still trying to escape the oncoming attacks. The seven-tailed was suddenly interested in approaching White Tiger. She tearfully said to herself whether she was gonna die. All of a sudden, the jade necklace the seven-tailed was wearing activated. The old bird from the place where the fight took place saw a huge light occur. It was the fire phoenix that came out of the jade necklace the seven-tailed was wearing. The fire phoenix unleashed its power and wrecked White Tiger without a trace. Drenched in cold sweat, the old bird said that Phoenix's real soul came from the jade pendant. No wonder the seven-tailed signed up. Was it the reason she dared to do it? The seven-tailed realized that her sister gave her the jade pendant. It was the pendant Nianfan gave to Day for successfully solving a chess game, and Day gave it to the seven-tailed. Realizing that made her big-headed. She boastfully said, who else would fight against her? Giant Bear and Silver Lion immediately shouted to the seven-tailed. It appeared that they would have to join forces to kill the seven-tailed. The demons there talk about the seven-tailed daring to use the human artifacts. Of course, the Demon Elder told the seven-tailed, even though he didn't know where the seven-tailed got the artifact, but the seven-tailed should know that she had to fight using her own power. If the seven-tailed used the human artifacts, then the demons wouldn't just leave it at that. Giant Bear immediately attacked the seven-tailed violently. Silver Lion also came to attack, knocking the seven-tailed over. The seven-tailed really couldn't do much. She hoped her sister would come to help. As the demons shouted at her and Giant Bear began to throw his punches and crushed the seven-tailed stepping stones, Giant Bear already felt victorious. The seven-tailed was too confident. Suddenly Dave, who had rescued the seven-tailed, seen on the tree and said that they also shouldn't be overconfident. Seeing her sister came, the seven-tailed was really glad that she didn't die. The Demon Elder saw Day and thought that Day was a human and someone sent the seven-tailed to disrupt the Demon King election. The Demon Elder asked who Day was and her purpose. Day glanced over the Demon Elder and said the Demon Elder's eyes seemed to be troubled, gathering in the barren mountain with the presence of demons. Therefore, she was also a demon. Soon, Day transformed into her demonoid form, a human who had 9 tails and ears like a fox. Silver Lion shouted, hadn't the 9-tailed fox been captured by a cultivator of Li-nianfan palace? With a piercing gaze, Day said that she gave them chance, retreat, or die. Silver Lion was provoked. He thought that Day, who had turned into a human, had no cultivation base. He attacked Day. Giant Bear tried to stop Silver Lion, but it was too late. Silver Lion approached and attacked Day. With a sweet smile, Day said that Silver Lion opted to death. One hand and activated her technique. The hundreds of icicles towering on the ground had killed the Silver Lion in an instant. Day came down from the tree with an exceptional aura. The demons couldn't believe their eyes. Day had killed Silver Lion just by an attack. Day approached the battle arena and stood still beneath the bright moonlight with grace and beauty. She asked all the demons there whether there was any objection. Hearing the question made everyone terrified. A wolf demon immediately kneeling and said, how dare the Silver Moon Demon Lord wish for the presence of someone like Day? Then he deserved to die, followed by all the demons kneeling before Day. But there was one demon who didn't kneel. A Giant Bear mentally hit by Day's stare. Day asked whether the giant bear disagreed. Giant bear fearfully said that Day misunderstood. His leg was tingling. That was the reason he couldn't kneel down. Day then helped Giant Bear's leg back to the way it was before so he could kneel. With tears of joy, Giant Bear thanked Day. Day once again said to all the demons there, her sister, the seven-tailed, would be the demon king. Did anyone disagree? Time had passed and the morning had come. Suddenly, Nefren woke up startled, asking Day to take out the rice stew. But he immediately realized it was just a dream. It was a sunny morning, the birds chirping all around. Nefren didn't miss his morning routine, stretching his body. Suddenly, Day came from outside. Daddy was a bit surprised when Nefren scolded her for missing her morning exercise. Day should keep exercising, never be lazy. With fear, Day apologized for her mistake. They immediately exercised together. Nefren asked Day where had Day been. Day said that she looked for light since the stone lantern in the courtyard had turned off. Nefren stopped his exercise and looked enthusiastic. He asked Day whether she got the lights. Day took something out of her hand. It turned out to be fireflies. The fireflies went straight into the lamp housing in the courtyard. Nefren, really amazed by the fireflies, he thought it was really wonderful. Day said if Nefren went to the courtyard at night, he wouldn't need to bring the lantern anymore since there were fireflies. With a genuine smile, Nefren thanked. He really loved it. Day also shyly said that she was happy if Nefren was happy. As he walked away, Nefren said, didn't fireflies a short lifetime, so they should look for it again later? Day told Nefren no to worry because that fireflies has a long lifetime. Meanwhile, inside the lantern, two fireflies were shocked seeing Day, who was the nine-tailed fox demon. Moving on to a barren, hot desert, Nanan and the Golden Lotus sect master were walking together. The sect master asked for Nanan's apologize for troubling her, since the Golden Lotus sect was located in the wild area. She still apologized for making Nanan suffer. Yet Nanan still seemed in a good condition. She told the sect master not to worry. Not long after, they had arrived in the sect building, a dilapidated building in tatters. It was Golden Lotus sect's building. Nanan immediately was guided into her room. The sect master showed Nanan that it would be her room. Nanan understood. She tried to touch the decayed walls of the building, but instead of being sad, she was happy. Moving on to the sect master who entered a room, it turned out to her sister's room. She greeted her and said that she had come back. Someone who looked like the Golden Lotus sect master was seen lied on her bed. The woman turned to be the real Golden Lotus sect master. She was Ham Yan. The sect master who brought Nanan over was Ham Yu. They both really looked alike or almost looked like a twin. Han Yu helped Han Yan to get out from her bed as she seemed to be tired. Han Yan said that she almost ran out of time and Golden Lotus sect would rely on Han Yu. She was poisoned when she took out the honey. Golden Lotus sect was too small, none would send them offer. It was the reality. Han Yu said that she came up with an unrivaled disciple this time. Han Yan was surprised to hear that. She wondered if the disciple was someone who had an intermediate level spiritual root. Han Yu shook her head and said no. Again, Ham Yan asked whether it was high-level spiritual root. Ham Yan had been so enthusiastic with the answer, but Ham Yu broke her sister's enthusiasm by saying that it was just someone who had a low-level spiritual root. Han Yan was nearly dead upon hearing that. Wiping the blood that come out of her mouth from surprise, Han Yan said how Ham Yu made a joke when she was dying. How could she entrust the Golden Lotus sect to Ham Yu? Han Yu explained, even though the disciple she brought was just someone who had a low-level spiritual root, but she would be blessing for Golden Lotus sect. Han Yu pulled out all the high-level medicinal materials given by King Luo. Seeing that made Ham Yan surprised. Han Yu said Ham Yan's illness could be cured using all those medicinal materials. Han Yan asked if all this was thanks to the disciple Han Yu brought in. Han Yu confirmed. Nanan had a relative who was a god, and King Lu gave lots of treasure to make the god impressed. Han Yan was regained her sense. She said it was a blessing for Golden Lotus sect. She excitedly asked Han Yu to take a good care of the disciple. Han Yu told Han Yan not to worry. She would do her best. Han Yan was curious about the god Han Yu was talking earlier. What kind of a spiritual root the expert had, or the one they called God, that made King Lu wanted to impress him. Han Yu hadn't answered yet. Someone knocked the door. It was Nanan. Han Yu introduced Ham Yan to Nanan. Nanan could call her as Master Elder. Nanan was surprised and confused seeing Han Yan. She bowed and paid respect. Han Yu asked what brought Nanan here. Nanan innocently said that she wanted Han Yu to look at the she made. It was the list of Golden Lotus sects and Nanan's enemies. There were the leopard demon who had kidnapped her back then, the demon Tao who had kidnapped her on New Year's Eve, Heavenly Sword sect that was the enemy of the Golden Lotus sect, and 2 others. Han Yu didn't understand Nanan's intention for giving out the list. Out loud, Nanan said that the ones on the list were the enemies, then all must be eliminated one by one. Nanan smilingly said that from now on, she would finish off anyone who disturbed Nianfan brother and the Golden Lotus sect and anyone who knew Nanan. Han Yu and Han Yan were shocked to see Nanan like that. They said to themselves that Nanan was very fierce. So what kind of the low-level spiritual root Nanan had? Moving on Nianfan's house. Yaoguai was seen open the door to welcome the guests. It was King Lu and Shai Yu. King Lu excitedly and happily said that he came to deliver the letter Nanan sent for Nianfan. Nianfan at the backyard was brushing his teeth, told them to wait. Nianfan spat the water from his mouth to a flower in front of him. Nianfan laughed in response. How could a king run errands like a postman? King Lu said he didn't dare delay the important letter from Nanan to Nianfan, so that he came personally to deliver it. Suddenly, King Lu and Shai Yu were silent as they watched a flower next to Nianfan in wonder, which apparently the plant moved on its own. As for the plant itself, it was like receiving the blessings of heaven because Nianfan's saliva was the water of heaven for Master Nianfan. Who knows what Shai Yu and her dad were thinking, leaving them speechless. Deep down, they were envious of the plants that received heavenly water from Nianfan. Breaking the ice, Nianfan said that he didn't believe they'd both come personally to deliver the letter for him. As a token of gratitude, Nianfan invited them both to have some food together, because he wanted to show them his precious treasure by chance. Nianfan read the letter together with King Lu and Shai Yu. The contents of the letter only wrote that Nanan was treated very well, and she even began to cultivate. Looking at all the contents of her letter, Nianfan asked, was that how the sect treated its disciples? King Lu responded, since Nianfan asked King Lu to take care of Nanan, he gave the sect master the proper direction. Nianfan respectfully fascinated, saying if it was as expected of a king. King Lu and Shai Yu even had the same thought. It was as expected of Master Nianfan. Seeing the crystal ball from Li-nianfan Immortal Pavilion, Shai Yu and King Lu were shocked because they saw 1,000-year Xuan ice from Lin Immortal Pavilion. Once at the destination, Nianfan said to King Lu and Shai Yu to look at the treasure he was talking about. They were curious whether it was greater thing than the things he just saw. Nianfan showed the double-door fridge to King Lu and Shai Yu. Nianfan told them both that he just mentioned it to Master Mufeng, but it turned out that he really brought it to Nianfan. Seeing the fridge, Shai Yu and King Lu thought that it was ordinary. But when Nianfan opened the fridge's upper door, the cold air blew past the 2 of them that froze them instantly. They just realized there was ice crystals. Nianfan handed them ice cream. They didn't react and just look at it in surprise. Nianfan explained that it was ice cream. In Nianfan's hometown, it was called popsicles. Shai Yu was completely stunned over the popsicle Nianfan gave her. She never had a taste before, but the dazzling glitter of the popsicle really made her want to try it. It must be the immortal's food. As Shai Yu was about to eat it, King Lu stopped her. He speculated that it was frozen by the crystal ice, and the crystal ice was a deadly thing that could freeze the time in one's life. With a serious face, King Lu said that Shai Yu's life would be threatened if she was reckless. Hearing that left Shai Yu in shock and speechless. Meanwhile, Nianfan began to eat it. The chill that made his teeth ache and his face scrunch up held it back. Nianfan then, cheerfully smiling, said to King Lu and Shai Yu, the popsicle flavor tasted just like summer. Nianfan asked them, didn't they want to try it? Because of such great temptation, King Lu took the risk. He used his whole power just in case something happened to him. He confidently said to himself that he had to give it a try. King Lu then licked the popsicle that suddenly froze his body. Looking at his dad, who had frozen, made her worry. Within King Lu's subconscious, he was on a snowy mountain, but he didn't feel cold. He felt warm just like in a spring day instead. Suddenly, King Lu's body emitted light and shattered the ice that froze him. King Lu was back to his conscious and said it was as expected of immortal's food. It took just a lick and he already reached the peak. Shai Yu didn't understand what her dad was talking about. Once again, King Lu warned Shai Yu not to be careless. Even though the food was tasty, if she didn't cautious, then Xiaoyu could turn into ice snow. Hearing the warning from her dad, Xiaoyu became a little worried, which eventually led to the two of them only licking the popsicle at the tip. Nefan teased them both for only eating ice cream that way. If it took too long, the popsicle would melt. Nefan proceeded and showed them how to eat it. They should eat the popsicle the way he ate. Nefan bit off half of the popsicle and ate it without any effect. Meanwhile, King Lu and Xiaoyu were flabbergasted upon the sight. With smile, Nefan said if they ate it the way Nefan did, then they would sense the real freshness. They both got hit mentally whether they had to do it. If so, they both would really die soon. Nefan pushed on them to eat the popsicle in Nefan's way. It would cause an incredible sensation. King Lu and Xiaoyu timidly but courageously, they assured themselves to eat it. King Lu and Xiaoyu used their full power to withstand the side effects that might cause. King Lu told Xiaoyu not to be afraid and to muster the strength to endure it. Just to eat a popsicle, they had to give it their all. As they bit the popsicle, suddenly a huge burst of energy came out from inside their bodies that could be seen from a distance. Under their subconscious, they had a chat about what would happen to them in their subconsciousness about some things. They had to thank Master Nefan for letting them be able to die many times, which meant that it could improve their cultivation. After returning to the mundane consciousness, King Lu and Xiaoyu really looked like a dead body. Because of having the popsicle, King Lu said that they suddenly felt unwell, so they bid farewell to head back. Nefan was confused for what had happened to them, whether cold food gave them a stomachache. Suddenly, King Lu shouted as he couldn't resist it anymore. His stomach was in knots and he couldn't hold it in, so he asked to use the toilet. After a while, King Lu had finished his meads. He was amazed of Nefan's toilet, very sophisticated. Nefan asked King Lu whether he felt better. King Lu replied that he would digest it slowly in his palace. But what King Lu meant was Taoist wisdom or knowledge. Yet what Nefan was getting at was the popsicle King Lu would digest once he went back. Not long after, Xiaoyu came out of the restroom next door. Then they said goodbye to head back to the palace. As King Lu was about to leave, Nefan tried to stop them. He had something and he needed King Lu's help. Moving on Lin Immortal Palace, Qin was seen sitting down surrounded by some elders. One of the elders asked whether Qin had any idea of the dangers Master Lin was facing. Qin sadly said that she knew it. Master Lin would